Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Leggetter.
And today we are concluding, rounding out our fortnight celebration of the incredible icon, William Goldman. Let's do this now. You have now seen, the six, I would say, the six greatest films he ever wrote, worked on. Is he the greatest screenwriter of all time?
I mean, sure. Because of what I've seen and the screenwriters I know, it's the one I like the most. So I suppose you can say that.
I'll throw in Woody, obviously. You can't beat your Tarantinos.
I'd have to say William Goldman, yeah.
But I think I can talk about the breadth of Woody's career for days and days on end. But I think if we just look at this as a six film sample, we've got a tense political thriller, a post-war, psychological thriller. No, not a psychological. This is just a bare bones spy thriller. Magic, a psychological thriller / horror. Princess Bride, a full-blown comedy, romance, fairy tale, whilst also telling us about what it means to tell stories. Butch Cassidy, probably my favourite Western, definitely the best written Western. Maybe not necessarily the best directed, or we could. It's my favourite, but I think if we're going to be diplomatic, The Searchers or Shane. Shane is marvellous. I have Shane right here, a beautiful Blu-ray with a lovely booklet arrived the other day by the incredible George Stevens. And so I could say that Shane or The Searchers are better directed Westerns, but I don't think you can find a better written Western. And then obviously Misery, one of our favourite films, and maybe and one of, most certainly, the best film adaptations of a book ever. Am I missing one? No, they're the six we've done.
I was going to say it's interesting. We say these are the best six ones he's done, and they're completely different. Yeah. And in themselves, brilliant.
It's why I think that's always been my main argument talking about Kubrick, because when people talk about Kubrick being the best director of all time, it's one of those that I can't really dispute, because you look how he made 7 masterpieces in different genres. He made a horror masterpiece. He made a war masterpiece, or at least the first half of one, but we'll talk about when we get there. Our opinions on 2001 aside, he made a sci-fi masterpiece. Clockwork Orange, he made
a sci-fi film.
Clockwork Orange, he made a sci-fi, twisted, perverted, whatever he made so many masterpieces in so many different genres that I think so when you put him up against, people like to throw out Tarantino, people like to throw out I think Scorsese has a bit of that breadth as well of creativity. And as I say, I think if we're actually looking at the actual span of the career, Woody Allen is a lot more than just 10 people talking in a room. However, he is also 10 people talking in a room, and that's why we love him. But we will get to talking about Goldman in a sort of best of sense later in this episode, as it is our final of this format. Hey. But for now, let's talk about this. Marathon Man.
whoever killed him will probably want to speak to you.
I don't know anything.
And I'd like to use you as possible bait.
It's not safe.
Is it safe?
Is it safe?
No, it's not safe. It's very dangerous.
He's probably the wealthiest and most wanted Nazi left alive.
1976, based off his own novel. Let me tell you, it's Storytime Corner, Will. William Goldman is walking down the Diamond District in New York, and he's looking around at all these old Jews, and he keeps seeing Holocaust tattoos. And he thinks, and it's the, you know, it's the classic light bulb moment. It would be incredible if I could get the world's worst Nazi
Right here.
to have to walk down this street. And from that comes the original Marathon Man novel, which is excellent and a great page turner, just a really solid thriller. And then we get the film.
I'm positive your brother meant to rob me when I leave the bank with my diamonds.
No, I don't know anything.
Well, can I trust you? You never could.
You're uncontrollable. What you offer us is valuable, but it's not worth the chaos you're causing.
Where is he?
No!
Now, when the gap gets too large between what the FBI can handle effectively and what the CIA doesn't want to deal with, that's where we come in.
What do you do exactly?
We provide
Provide what?
anything.
Were you Sal's mistress?
I never even met him.
Is it safe?
Marathon Man.
There is one big change from the book to the film, which we'll talk about in Alternate Ending Corner, but we'll get to that later, because actually I think both endings work, and I'm excited to see what you think. So Marathon Man, now we have Dustin Hoffman as Babe, or Babington, short for Babington, who runs marathons, that's where the title comes from, who, little to his knowledge, his brother is not an oil businessman, but is actually involved in the CIA, who are currently investigating and dealing and making deals with Christian Zell, de Wasserangel, played by Laurence Olivier, just a scumbag.
I've not seen many Laurence Olivier stuff.
Oh yeah, what else have you seen?
I've seen his Othello, which we don't talk about. I've not seen. Obviously, I've seen his Hamlet. Sleuth I love. Rebecca.
Sleuth is great. Yes, Rebecca's
good.
excellent.
Spartacus, I've seen that, but I've not seen. I've not seen a lot of his later appearances.
You're a big Shakespeare guy. Have you seen his Hamlet?
I have seen his Hamlet, and I'm not a fan.
Oh, who is your favourite Hamlet then, Will?
Oh, David Tennant was pretty good.
David Tennant was pretty good. Okay,
pretty good.
I feel I can't pass comment. Indeed. No, I mean, whatever you know, there is no argument that Laurence Olivier is one of the greatest actors we have ever known. I wish I could have seen some of the stage work. I mean, obviously, there's no way I could have done. But just an incredible legend. And yeah, let's talk about this now. So basically, he was dying of cancer, and he had terrible gout in his leg, and no studio would insure him. Nobody would give him roles because they were worried he was going to die halfway through, and they would lose immense amounts of money. You know, as much as we talk about art and film, and as much as we love it, it is show business at the end of the day. And basically, Robert Evans, you know, maestro producer of The Godfathers, which we talked about, and Chinatown, which we're going to talk about, and Shampoo. Basically, he went to the insurance company and said, "Give this. He is the greatest living actor. Give him back his dignity."
Yeah.
And I mean, it may be a bit of, you know, I mean, well, there is an undoubted truth to the comment, but Robert Evans on the documentaries was saying, you know, they gave him 6 months to live, but the adrenaline of working again, he lived for 13 more years. And I mean, that obviously is true. I don't know if the cancer going into remission maybe had a part in that. But at the end of the day, you know, it was a big thing having Olivier in a film again.
Yeah.
And he was on so many painkillers and so much different drugs that he was actually really struggling to remember his lines. And this was a man who still had up there a bunch of his Shakespeare's, because you'd never forget him.
I say it's like with Sorian. I don't know who remembers them all.
I know, when he did his 2.5 hour job.
He's just been cast as Hamlet again, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, in a what do they call it? Age blind?
Age blind, yeah. Yeah, I'd be interested to see who's cast as the other parts. Like, what are they just having an old Hamlet and everyone else is
a 10-year-old Claudius? It is Claudius, isn't it? His uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Are they going to have a younger? Are they going to have his dad be younger? I don't know how this is going to sit with me.
It'd be avant-garde. Left wing would be great. Ooh.
Basically, they've just come up with a way for him to play Hamlet again. Again,
any
ever?
Excuse. No, he's done it. He did it. He's done it a few times, I think.
Oh, right.
Obviously, he's more used to doing Lear nowadays.
Yes, he did. Did you see his Lear at the Duke of York?
I painted his headshot.
No, but did you see it?
Oh no. No.
Yes, we all know, Will, that you painted him. You went to go see him in No Man's Land, and you met him, and he signed it. It's a wonderful story. Marathon Man, YouTube comments. A great movie. Love the gritty 70s aesthetic. So much has been made of the working relationship between Hoffman and Olivier. The fact is, they were two very different people from two very different eras, and both were exceptional actors. Yes, very much has been made about this. I'll talk about it now. So the famous story is Olivier asks Hoffman, "What did you do last week, old boy?" And he said, "Well, you know, my character is supposed to be up for 3 days, so I stayed up for 3 days." And Olivier famously commented, "What about acting?" Now, Hoffman has over the years, he had a period of denying that it ever happened, and then he went back and said, "Well, no, it did happen. I told the story to people. That's why it's in the lexicon." But the truth is, I was going through my first divorce, and he's divorced to his first wife. I don't know if he's had multiple divorces, and it was Studio 54 days, and it just seemed like a good excuse to stay up for 3 days. But yeah, no, it's you know what I love is before people realized that people would actually watch behind the scenes featurettes, and before people realized that people actually listened to audio commentaries. So Ben Affleck's Armageddon commentary, where he's just talking about how the film doesn't make any sense at all, and he's like, "This doesn't make any sense. Why would you not just teach astronauts to drill? Why are you teaching drillers to become astronauts? This film doesn't make any sense." And then when they got credibly, they got Hunter S. Thompson to do a audio commentary for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and he's like, there's a scene where he's Johnny Depp's Hunter S. Thompson is being mean to a dwarf, and he says, "I never talk like that to midgets. This is the one part of the film I don't like. I would never be mean to a midget." And
the irony.
And he talks about it for a good 10 minutes. It's very interesting and funny. And this is a great, featurette, because there's just whole scenes where, Hoffman is like, yeah, no, I wanted them to really drown me because I'm a method actor. And I said, don't touch my Adam's apple, but definitely try and drown me. And that's true. That in the bath dunking scene, they were really holding him under. And the other part is just a full shot, a bit from behind, so I don't know if they knew they were being filmed, of Olivier and Hoffman just having a bit of a I won't say an argument, but Hoffman's like, I just don't know if he would say that. And Olivier's going, and he's just going step by step through the script, and he goes, no, I say this because the diamonds are here. And then you don't agree. You don't think that the diamonds, you don't care about the diamonds, do you? And then Hoffman's like, yeah, but I think he'd say something else. And we go, no, because look, and it's just breaking it in the script.
It is interesting, like the two completely different acting approaches meet, and just see what happens sometimes.
And in this, it works exceptionally well.
Marathon Man. Much has been said about Sir Laurence Olivier, and that he was at a stage in his life that, in the interest of his family, he wanted to provide for them. Was it that, or what? What was it like working with him at that stage in his life, and the genius he brought to acting?
I think the most memorable thing about Marathon Man was that I knew Laurence Olivier. I had met him at the National Theatre, and he had become very ill and wasn't really able to work. Mm-hmm. He did 1 or 2 days for Herb Ross in a film about Sherlock Holmes. As he said, my dear boy, I did it just to try it out, to see if the engine was still...
It has to be said. And actually, I think that, I won't say rigid. Olivier's not a rigid actor. But I think the precision, let's say.
Well, he's a theatre background, isn't he? That's why. That's the main difference as well.
I mean, Hoffman did his fair share of theatre. We'll talk about in. We're having a bit of a Hoffman period. We've got Graduate coming up very, very soon. The precision of Olivier's acting and his performance in this works so well for Zell. And then compare that to the frenzied nature of this man on the run, that sort of...
Literally.
Yeah, the midpoint where Hoffman is half naked in his pants and that dressing gown, and his mouth's all shot to shit, obviously, and he's all sweaty and he looks terrible. Incredible.
It's great, isn't it? It's good. It's good as dust.
More YouTube comments. So, not a movie about running a marathon then?
Running. And he came to us when I first talked to him about doing it. He had a very high-pitched voice because his muscles were all affected. And I had to go through the whole script in London to say, now, this is the moment I want you to do this, and you run to the track. Can't run, dear boy, could only walk. Walk fast. But this voice was so high. And when he came, he was much better when he started here in New York. And the wonderful thing about the film was to see him get better every day he worked.
As if energy flowed into his body?
Yes, as if the old pro was
Any doubt in your mind that would you make the critical judgment he's the best actor?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think that's he was a wonderful theatrical actor. Yeah. He gave some very good and some pretty bad performances on film, but he was assumed to be the greatest actor. Yeah, and directors, I think, were sometimes frightened to say anything to him.
I was going to say this. Well, obviously, I had no idea it was going to be about Nazi war criminals going into it. Oh, yes.
Did you know anything?
I thought it was going to be more like Run, Fat Boy, Run, which is a great film, actually. I enjoy that.
I think I saw that at the cinema. Did you know anything about the infamous dentist scene, Will?
No. I've been involved in many infamous dentist scenes over my career.
As in you've been to dentist?
I've just been in Little Shop.
Oh, yes, you have.
Yes.
And
And
also, we're going to write Marathon Man the musical, aren't we?
running, running, running.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
they
he
let
wanted-
him, they wouldn't direct him.
No. And he said, please tell me, dear boy, tell me. And I would see him going over the top, and I thought...
Yeah, but there's a great story. There's a great story, which I know you've heard 1,000 times,
Yes.
about Hoffman.
Oh, yes.
Tell me the story. The story is that, and you pick it up, Hoffman had gone for 3 days without sleep because he wanted to look, feel, act this wonderful moment with Olivier. Pick up the story.
Was the dental scene.
Yes, right.
And Olivier had very carefully practiced saying, is it safe, umpteen different ways. I didn't really have to direct him. He had worked it out to the T. And Hoffman needed other means to look out of it. So he sat in his chair and he was sort of... every time Olivier came near him, the pupils nothing came out of the eyes. And when I saw the rushes, I knew that we had to reshoot all his close-ups. And Olivier then said to me, I said, Larry, I'm sorry, we've got to reshoot his stuff. And he said, oh, why doesn't he just act? But it was very interesting working with the two of them, because Dustin's a wonderful
brilliant
actor,
actor.
brilliant actor,
Right.
and a great improviser.
Right.
And Olivier was of an age and of a tradition where he learned the lines and he didn't want to go away from them.
It's interesting how stories like this sort of get around. I mean, the story I'd always heard, the punchline was, my boy, have you tried acting?
Yes, I know.
Is it safe? Dun, dun, dun. That could be a nice tango. How many words can we rhyme with safe? Is it safe? Dun, 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 dun. I'm running out of breath. No. What rhymes with safe?
Is this safe? And then he's like, do you think I look like a proper Nazi? Let's bring in Rafe. And then Rafe Fiennes
Oh, and then
comes in.
Ray finds us Eamon Goth from Schindler's List.
Yeah.
One of the biggest Oscar travesties ever. I think this has come up.
What, the Oscar Schindler travesty?
No, Schindler won picture and director. But I think old Rafe should have won best supporting. But I can't remember what he was up against. I feel like it's come up before, and who he was up against was it was really tough. I can't remember. I'm going to assume that some people who watch this movie drink protein shakes now. And this is another one. So this movie is about a guy who runs. Okay.
Yay.
Run, Tootsie, run! And that quite humorous. Thanks to this movie, I haven't been to the dentist since 1976. I'd probably go.
I say, what's the state of your oral hygiene?
Proof you don't need blood and gore to make a scary scene. True. He washes his hands before the procedure. Professionalism and hygiene, hand in hand. It's terrifying. I mean, just what an ingenious choice. Just brilliant stuff. Let's jump straight into 10-minute stretch one.
Yeah, well, I've got quite a few. It's another one of those films where there's a lot of big, long scenes, not many short ones. So I've got the opening sort of car chase. I like that.
Yep.
Where the sort of it sets out the themes. You've got that very, very agitated Jewish guy who suddenly discovers. Does he know he's a Nazi? Or is he...
Well, yeah, because he goes, Juda! He says, he starts calling him
does.
a Jew in German.
Yeah.
So maybe, no, I don't think he knows he's a Nazi. But he knows,
saying,
but
that's
he knows at least that he's a German who's racist against Jews. And in 1976, you can make an educated guess.
You can.
Where that comes from. So, yeah.
I've got that. I've also got... I quite like the scene where they're discussing his PhD dissertation. That's quite nice.
Yes, I've got that in a single minute. And then we are introduced to the whole communism sub. I won't call it a full subplot because it doesn't really. I won't say it doesn't go anywhere, but it doesn't. It's not a big twist reveal. Zell didn't accuse him of communism. That's not why he was on the committee. But it's a weird like whole part of history that we sort of forget of. Like, in '76 there was still generations of people who had their lives completely affected by the McCarthy communism hearings. It wasn't just, a few famous writers and actors and directors and such. I mean, obviously, it greatly affected those, and they were one of the big targets. But also, they were just grabbing university historians.
Yeah,
and. This also leads into another one of my nominations for. Well, no, I guess I'd put it in 10-minute stretch. I'll do one of mine now. The whole Doc coming to New York. The great scene where he comes and visits him, and we have that great back and forth about the father of. He was just a drunk who killed himself, and that. Yeah, but he didn't start drinking until the hearing, and Roy is clearly. Not necessarily over it, especially over something like that, especially in such a tragic way. But he's definitely wanting to move on more so. He gains nothing from, gains nothing from studying and wanting to make this about his thesis.
It's like me. I gain nothing from studying. I wish I did.
Well, the teacher puts it plain. He says, the McCarthy is going to be part of your thesis, isn't it? He goes, well, maybe. And he goes, it's going to be part of your thesis, isn't it? And he goes,
is it safe?
Yeah, it's safe. And he goes, yes. And he goes, very worrisome. It has to be a professional doctoral thesis, not a hysterical paranoia sheet.
Thanks, Henry. Thank you.
Everything all right, Miss Rosenheim?
Oh, yes. See you next week.
There you are, sir. Close the door for the light, sir. No one can enter. Everything all right, sir?
Yeah.
That's not how you're going to clear your father's name. And then obviously that great button on that scene. I don't need to clear his name. He was innocent. Just great stuff. And continuing my first nomination. Well, no, my second nomination. My first nomination is complete agreement with the car accident. Into that great meeting, dinner with Elsa and Doc and Babe.
I love it in the table scene.
Who doesn't?
Just love food. Love food.
It's very reminiscent of a scene I'm sure you enjoy. Is it Holmes 2 or 1, where he
it'll
grills...
be Holmes 2.
Yes, it is Holmes 2 with the ginger.
Yeah.
What's the name? Mary Riley.
Yes.
And Holmes gives it, figures are all out. And same with Roy Scheider here. Let's talk about Roy Scheider. Why didn't Roy Scheider have the biggest career in the world?
Yeah, he's great.
I'm not happy with just French Connection, Jaws, this and all that jazz. All that jazz, he gives one of the greatest performances of the 70s.
I've only seen him in Jaws, in Jaws 2.
Oh, Jaws 2 is excellent as well. Yeah. I begrudge Jaws 2. I'm a big Jaws
Marathon
2.
Man's the only other thing I've seen him in. I've not done French Connection.
Yeah, I mean, French Connection, I was saying to sort of make the list longer. Not that it isn't excellent, but all that jazz is, I won't say life-affirming. I won't say thought-provoking. I won't... I won't do. What's Hercules? I won't say I'm in love. Where do we sit on Hercules one?
Not seen it. Not seen it. However, I did a dance workshop to Zero to Hero.
So you want to be a hero then? Oh no, that's One Last Hope.
That's
Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hercules is fine. Still not Beauty and the Beast. Nothing's Beauty and the Beast. If we've learnt one thing in life, it's that nothing is Beauty and the Beast. And then obviously the final part of that 10-minute stretch is the murder of Doc and
Doc.
You're a courier for Nazis, Doc. And just that. Well, what he sees is just he wants to see his brother one last time.
Yeah.
And that leads us down a very rocky road.
Silly Doc.
Oh, silly Doc. What a great weapon. The retractable blade.
It's Assassin's Creed, isn't it?
Well, I believe, I don't know if I'm right about the facts here. I think this came first in...
Right. Well, I don't know if the Assassin's Creed, how accurate the Assassin's Creed games are, but in Assassin's Creed 2, Leonardo da Vinci invents it for you. So I wonder if...
I'm pretty sure that might have been addition. I've never played them, but isn't the whole gist that it's not the real world anyway? Isn't it like an artificial world? I can't remember.
Well, it's an artificial world, but you visit past real people. It is real people, but it's like Avatar.
Ah, right. Okay.
But it's Avatar, but you then become a person who actually existed in history.
What about an Avatar where I become Roy Scheider and I make him
have a better...
No, I become Roy Scheider's agent, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how it would work. Because I don't know how I could get him a better career, because I think he had everything going for him. He had talent, he had charisma and attractiveness. He's an attractive guy. He had everything to make a movie star a movie star. And I think, I don't know, maybe he's very particular, in a way. Who knows? Your other nominations, Will, for 10-minute stretch?
I've got the police sort of interview where he finally finds out, and he's very, very good acting when he's sat on that chair, going into sort of the kidnapping and the dunking. I think that's a great scene.
Which leads us into, I think, a joint...
What?
We'll call it 20-minute stretch, let's say.
Yes, I also cheated with this. Unless you want to call it 2.
We can split it into
minutes.
So you've got the first 10-minute stretch of the torture, which is the first torture. And I guess we can include... No, well, the first torture up until the escape, the fake escape, and then your second part starts when we reveal that it was a fake escape and we're back, and he comes with the drill and he plugs the drill in, and now at this point you know what sort of apparatuses he's pulling out. Eek. What did you think, Will, when you found out it was a fake escape? What a great reveal!
Oh, that payoff
really
is...
being
but
shocked by that as a kid.
That's what that's when it started confusing me a bit, because what's he called? Doc's mate, who he works with, who he played tennis with.
We'll call him William Devine, which is the actor's name.
Okay,
it's not a fake name I've come up with.
Is he good? Is he corrupt? Is he?
He's
bad?
corrupt. Yeah, no, he's corrupt. He's
good.
corrupt as
Okay.
well, yeah.
Oh, very good. Good.
He's
not good.
Sold out Roy Scheider to be in on this diamond deal, and sort of be done with Zell. As he says, you know, the information you're giving us isn't worth the chaos you're creating. Because at the end of the day, not saying that, you know, in the 70s they shouldn't have brought every Nazi that they could to justice, but they're not doing anything anymore, and all this immense chaos that Zell is causing really isn't worth the slice of meat. Slice of meat? That's not a phrase. It isn't worth the slice of meat. Jesus Christ.
Coming soon on the Carruthers, Leggetter, and whoever soundboard.
Yeah. It isn't worth a slice of meat.
What
else is on the soundboard?
Yes, no.
Sure. Yes, no.
Yes, no.
Yes, no. And then you can, whenever you say a depressing anecdote, you can then pull me out and go, that's staying in. And then, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, no, Will, the rest of your 10-minute stretches.
Yes, thank you. The escape, sort of him running away as he does. Lucky, it's very lucky to have trained in marathons. Really, it's quite convenient.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say it's convenience. I mean, it's. What do I always say? Well,
I don't know. What do
I always say? Every movie's allowed one coincidence.
Okay. And I love my last 10-minute stretch is that Olivia walking down that street.
Die Wasser anger. Zell, you've got to stop him. It's Zell.
Right.
Why won't nobody stop him? He's a beast. He's a murderer. And then I like that she declares, I'm going to stop him. And then she runs in front of a taxi. And then that great tall guy, I know you are, you murderer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible sequence. Because the building of tension. Right, so let's break it down. So he goes to the first shop.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, tell me how much it is worth. And then he's like, my brother-in-law, you know, he tells me I'm great at deals. And he goes, you'd never answer me. And then from there, he goes to the next shop and he recognizes, I know you. And then, Christopher Hess, Golders Green. You're in London at current, Will, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Have you been to Golders Green?
I went to Wagamama.
Oh, famous for its diamonds. Golders Green, yes. Christopher Hess. And then obviously the incredible performance of that old woman. Der Wasser anger. Which
she's just in a Portaloo and she's training.
Yes, she will. How crude. And then the final 10, the incredible face-off.
Very reminiscent of Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it is a very reminiscent sense of Empire Strikes Back, actually, isn't it? Here's a question. I'll do one of Tom's big questions now. What happens after the end of the film? Is he caught? Is
yeah?
Because he throws the gun away.
He does.
And we'll get to this in alternate ending.
I think it's a happy ever after.
Yeah. He goes up. How do you go home and finish your thesis after all that?
15,000. 15. Per carat, naturally.
Naturally. I know you. Perhaps you do. I'm pretty good at faces myself.
I know this.
Christopher Hess, how do you do? Christopher Hess, how do you do? Wait. Let me think. I think. Surely you came to our antique shop in London.
No, that wasn't it.
No, but you've been to London.
True. but I don't think...
Yes, Golders Green. We've been there since 33, when we got out of Germany, my wife and I. Our little shop is quite fashionable now.
I always wanted to visit London.
Well, I suggest you hurry while it's still there. Well, I thank you for your time, and I'm sorry 90,000 is far too high for me. Our little shop isn't that fashionable. Thank you.
Like what? Your next day, your deadline's still there.
The deadline's today.
The deadline's today. What? Like how do you write a thesis the day after all this?
I've written things in all sorts of state stuff.
Yes, but you've never been tortured by an ex-criminal Nazi.
It's true. It's true. That's one that's not
on your bucket list. Thomas Whitler's specific favourite parts of the film. I love the brother trying to swallow the key as he's slowly burning to death, and he just can't do it. The Paris reveal. We've talked about this before, about how I don't like big, Paris.
I
New
quite
York.
like that reveal because I thought Snyder was in New York the whole time.
No, I know that. No, I'm saying I like that we don't get the big title card, Paris.
Yes, you just get the Eiffel Tower in the background and him on the balcony.
Yeah. The Arc de Triomphe when he pulls out the tunnel. As I say, that's all you need. You don't need... I know they're in Paris because I see the Arc de Triomphe. The worst one was Civil War, where they were showing monuments. Oh, terrible.
It's for kids, though. It's for kids.
Stay! 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 My God! Stop him! Stay! Stop, stay! It's stay! Stay! Der weiße Engel! Der weiße Engel ist hier! Oh my God! Stop him! Stop him! Der weiße Engel! Der weiße Engel! Stop! My God! He gets away! Der weiße Engel is here! Stay! Stop him! Oh, please help me! He's a beast! He's a murderer! You must stop him! Oh, God! There he goes! Ah! He's getting away!
Everyone screaming?
Crazy, Aaron.
Der weiße Engel is here! Stop him! Stop him! Stop him! I will stop him! I will stop him! The beast!
I was going to say kids shouldn't watch Marathon Man, but I watched Marathon Man when I was a child. I watched Marathon Man.
You know what? I'm not surprised.
Yeah. This was another great sleepover at Grandma Pat and Grandad Dex. It was like, oh, you've never watched Marathon Man? And so I bought it at HMV because I knew that I was sleeping over on the Saturday. And I was like, Marathon Man, Marathon Man. And
right.
Yeah. I love Marathon Man. And I will show my children Marathon Man.
Yes.
And they will show their children Marathon. And I will read them Marathon Man to bed. I will read them the novel and then ask them, which ending do you think's better? Well, I think that the ending of the book is more about the death of humanity. Oh, good little Tom Jr. I would never do that. Where do you stand on juniors? Where do you stand on naming your children after you?
Junior, the Arnie movie, Junior.
Where do you stand on? I'm Thomas John Carruthers. My middle name is after my father.
Yeah,
I think I'll make my because that's continued because he's John Richard Carruthers.
That's the same with me. My dad's Adrian John Leggetter, and I'm William John Leggetter. So we share the middle name, but I would never give my child the same name as myself.
And then if it's a daughter, then she'll take my wife's. What if I have two daughters?
Call them the same. Make it confusing.
Hi, I'm Matilda Thomas Carruthers. But that's a very odd name. Yes, but Matilda's nice, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's lovely.
But back
to my weirdly specific favourite books. I love that the pram bomb is triggered by the baby's eyes rising.
Yeah,
I mean that's
I've
very
got that creepy baby bomb.
Creepy baby bomb, which is the name of our punk band. but also a wonder of technology. You know, how long do you think that took to rig?
I don't know.
Zell intro, that incredible Uruguayan down the river, and then that incredibly creepy pan up his bookcase. Well, not bookcase, but glass case, and we're like, oh no, that is definitely a human skull of a poor, unfortunate dead Jew.
Yep,
there is no doubt in anybody's minds. Fun fact: they actually did use a real. I'm kidding. The door break. I don't know. You're hard pressed to beat The Shining, and I'm not going to make. This is worse.
It's an understated door break. It's calculated. They know exactly. It's not a manic.
It's more frightening.
Yeah,
that shaking and I'm not going to say that it's better than The Shining because it's probably not. But it's more unnerving, and as we slowly crack up, and then help, and then I don't know whether he genuinely thinks that he's going to get out by. I mean, it's a good shout. It's the best thing he can do.
Yeah.
But it's not going to. Yeah. I love that great drive around the corner where Bill Devine's driving him about, and and he gives him all the exposition, and he's like, he must have meant something. He must have meant something.
That was a very confusing. Is it? He's at this point on the Nazi side, and he's also trying to get information out of him. Is that what
this
he's
was
doing?
all? Yeah, no, yeah, because it's a complete setup of if the first
backup sort of thing.
Yeah, if the first torture doesn't work, put him in a place where he believes he's safe. Is it safe? But he puts him in a position where he believes he can trust this guy, and he still doesn't say anything. He's still
because he doesn't know anything.
And then my specific getting to this point, my specific favorite part of that is the final shit because of Bill Devine, slamming the tire, and you realize not the tire, Christ, the wheel, and realizing, oh wait, good God, he's not giving in.
Yeah.
Terrible. We talked about the runaway. I love the conceit of getting the guys to rob him. Getting the guys, it's Tom Levy next door. Tom Levy? Who's Tom? It's creepy. It's the creep.
I love that. Why did they call it? That's always I walking onto one of your big questions. Why did they call him Mr. Is that it?
It looks creepy, I guess.
Justin Hoffman looks creepy.
I guess he looks kind of creepy. Like, hey.
He is an old man in a child body.
Yeah, I mean, he was far too old for the role, but
it makes sense because he's doing a PhD. I suppose you can do a doctorate at any age.
And also, I think he passes completely. He looks so young. Yeah. I think he completely looks like a college student. The fact that we know he's 40, I didn't know.
Did he do this before The Graduate?
No.
That one's a bit less.
No, I think he looks perfect for The Graduate. Okay, we've got The Graduate episode coming up. Well, I look forward to your thrilling Is He Old?
It's like Syrian. It's age blind.
Yes. As we've talked about, I love Der Wasserengel. I love Mart Keller's scream of "Babe." She didn't want. She didn't. It's the classic spy. I didn't
she a Nazi
know
as well?
No, she's not a Nazi. Well, she's just a courier. She's a racist. No, I completely. No, I get your confusion. It's taken me a lot of time and a reading of the book to really know who's who and who's a courier and all that.
I think I might read the book.
It's a great book, and then you can read the sequel, which I haven't read, but apparently isn't very good. So basically, the sequel is called Brothers, and Roy Scheider's survived.
Oh,
yeah, and it's another spy thriller and all that. I haven't read it, but yeah, it got mixed reviews, and Goldman isn't very happy with it. So anyway, and it isn't safe. The intro when Zell is walking down the road, and
What is he wanting to know? What safe?
No, that's just I think that's a torture tactic, isn't it?
All right.
The question that. Oh no! He's asking, is it safe when he's leaving the diamonds because he thinks he's going to get robbed?
Ah, yes.
But also, it is a sort of such a blank question that eventually it just becomes a torture tactic.
Yeah.
They're my weirdly specific favourite parts of the film. Will's more general favourite parts of the film.
I've only got a few. I've got right at the beginning where he's doing his run and he shouts at that woman for not having a dog on the lead. Very relatable. It's a very me thing to do.
Put that dog on the lead.
It's that one.
Why isn't it on the lead?
Because she's just a bad owner. It's that one. And when cyclists come by you without a bell and they just look at you as if you've done something wrong. And you just shout,
full stop. Terrible people.
I just hate them. I always shout, get yourself a bell for Christmas. Very, very rewarding.
Also, bicyclists when you're car riding.
Yeah.
Also known as driving, some people like to call it.
And then another thing I've got that hasn't been said yet. When he doesn't die, but when he thinks he's been shot on the escape, it's quite a satisfying land because he just goes sideways and lands on like a pole and then slips down. That's quite fun to watch.
It is a very satisfying moment. Oscar travesty. I don't know if we're giving it Best Picture. I think it's a really solid, taut thriller. I think. Well, we keep returning. So we talked about this on All the President's Men episode. So here we go. Which is a better performance? Jason Robards, the winner for All the President's Men as Ben Bradley, or Olivier as Zell? Both Goldmans, both in recent memory.
Oh, I don't know. That could be on the soundboard.
I think I'm going to go Robards. I think I'm going to stick with Bradley. I think both of them are what a supporting actor performance is. The definition. They're in it.
Yeah.
For a few scenes. Every time they're not on screen, you want them to be on screen. They leave you with just enough. They're arguably what you leave remembering. They both have great scenes with Dustin Hoffman. I'm sticking with Robards. I think you could make a very, 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 very strong case for Olivier.
Well, yeah, in anything.
You know, I'm actually surprised that Olivier didn't win as a sort of lifetime achievement award.
Did he get one? Eventually.
You think he won for Hamlet? I think he won for Hamlet.
He got an award ceremony named after him. Surely
yes, he did.
That's good enough.
Yes. Have they stopped televising the Oliviers again now?
I haven't watched it, so must be. I hope to win one day. That would be nice.
Yes, I'm sure.
Maybe 3 in a row.
Okay, so he was a nominee for Boys in the Band, for Boys from Brazil. He was a nominee for Supporting Actor for Marathon Man, nominee for Best Actor for Sleuth, nominee for Best Actor for Othello, Best Actor nominee Entertainer, nominee Richard III. He, as I say, yes, he won for Hamlet. He was nominated for Director for his Hamlet, but he didn't win. And he was nominated for his Henry V. He was nominated for Wuthering Heights, and he was nominated for Rebecca. But he won for his Hamlet, which you don't enjoy. So.
Which I don't enjoy.
Not to have a big Shakespeare tangent, Will. What don't you like about it? Is it too old? Dare we say old-fashioned? Do you prefer a bit more where they do the Shakespeare with a bit more of a modern, not a modern slant, but a more grit to it? Do you not like the prose?
Yeah, I adore prose, but I think of that sort of take on that sort of Hamlet, there's the Jacobi, which I think is far better. I'm not too far on Rory. No, it just doesn't do it for me. I'm afraid. I think he's much better as a villain.
You like his Richard III then?
I do. I like, and yeah, I prefer him rather than Hamlet.
Mm. Wolf's favourite building or set?
I think it might be that sort of water feature where
yes, it is a lovely
Schneider
water
gets
feature.
stabbed.
Schneider? Who's Roy Schneider?
Oh, Roy. What's he?
Scheider.
That's it.
Scheider.
But because you don't really get to see much of the South American Nazi lair.
Oh no, that's the winner. That's the winner. I don't even know why even. That's the winner.
It is the winner. Yeah.
But I do like the water feature, Will.
Yes. So thank you.
Best single minute. I'll kick us off. We talked about the father. It's not even a single minute. It should really be in specific favourite parts. But the opera. I love a good opera scene. And what a great.
Got a great one in Sherlock Holmes 2.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Yeah.
There's lots of great opera scenes there.
Hurrah!
Hurrah! Hurrah! Hurrah! Hurrah!
Rogue Nation.
Excellent. I'm a big fan for an opera. If a film has an opera scene, I'm in.
We should go to the opera, Tom. We should go to the opera.
It is on my bucket list. I want to see a proper opera.
Yes.
And I want to see proper ballet. Ballet-wise, I want to see Swan Lake. And I don't, snobby as it sounds, it's not even snobby. I don't want to see the Matthew Bourne. I want to see I want to see women. No, I want to see, the reason you go and see a ballet or an opera is I want a museum piece. I don't want a big modernized version, or I want to go and see
that classic,
a full-blown opera. I don't know which opera yet, but I definitely, when it comes to the ballet, I definitely want to see Swan Lake. But then I think, well, why don't I just spend that money on going to see two plays or two musicals that I really want to watch? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in my life. My other nominations for Best Single Minute, that incredible, let's call it the balcony fight, even though it stays on the balcony just for the star.
Yeah. The facts that I've never understood what the sort of the strangly wire things.
It's piano wire.
The grottle, is it?
Garrote.
Is it? It's garrote. That's it. Because what is it? Is it piano wire? So is it sharp?
It's remarkably sharp. As you see it dig into his hand, don't you?
That's the best bit, isn't it? Well, it's not nice to see, but he stops it with his hand, but then it starts cutting into his hand.
It's simultaneously choking you and lacerating your throat.
Yeah.
So, 2 for the price of 1. Because Max Cady and Cape Fear makes a makeshift one out of actual piano wire, doesn't he? Because he's Nick Nolte's testing the piano, and he's like, dang, dang. He's like, oh, that doesn't sound right. And then later,
there's a better use for this out of chum piano.
The Elsa montage into the getting mugged and the letter to Roy, just that great little sex moment of, please, I can't go again. Please, let's go again. And then I can't, neither can I. It's just a nice little, a human, realistic moment that shows the. Oh. Well, yes. Well, yes. Well, no, it is, isn't it? Because he's like, yeah, we can go again. But really, he's just putting on an air because really he's spent too. Do you have any of the nominations?
I've got. I've got. Yeah, no. Everything.
Oh, the fight at the house, really. The gunfight at the house is excellent.
Yes, the shouldn't have invited them in. Silly, he should have shot them there.
But could he take all 3 there?
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah, but he's not Clint Eastwood.
It's Dustin Hoffman. It's Dustin Hoffman. He can do anything.
Best line. Listen, I want you to rob my apartment. Why? There are some guys out there after me. I got a gun in my desk, and I want you to get me some clothes. What's in there for me, man? I got a TV set. I got a hi-fi. You can take it all. Do it. What's the catch? The catch is it's dangerous. Please do it. That ain't the catch. It's the fun.
Tom, you've stolen my favourite line. I was going to deliver that with such excellence. No, but no, that is my favourite line.
The gun had blanks. The knife, a retractable blade. Hardly original, but effective enough. I think you'll agree. I'm told you're a graduate student. Brilliant, yes. You are a historian, and I am part of history. I should have thought you would find me interesting. Frankly, I'm disappointed in your silence. Brilliant. I love a good villain. Oh, please don't worry. I'm not going into that cavity. That nerve's already dying. A live, freshly cut nerve is infinitely more sensitive. So I'll just drill into a healthy tooth until I reach the pulp. Unless, of course, you can tell me that it's safe.
That sort of, Olivier's depiction of this character made me remember how much I disliked the Nazis.
Because for the last year, I've been a bit on the fence, like, sure, but they were really well organised. Yes, it really brings home the villainous nature of, especially not that there's a higher ranking of bad, not that there's a ranking of like good to bad Nazis, but the experimentation side of things.
Yeah, that's the sort of the medical experiment side has always been the one that's really disturbed me most. That's the worst side. The clever Nazis, the ones that are.
Well, that throwaway line that he's on about, where he's like, he spread a rumor that he would let people escape for a price. And they're like, why did he say you started with gold? Because he was in their teeth, the goddamn Jews' teeth, you idiot. It's like, we don't have time for this. Incredible. Any other nominations, Will, for best line? I mean, obviously, is it safe?
Is it safe?
Which my grandma comments to me anytime. It's one of those very specific words where, like, if anybody says the word safe, she will say, is it safe? And actually, I don't even. If anybody, she'll quote Christian Zell. Zell, and then sometimes she goes Zell. It's wonderful. What a wonderful grandmother I have. I have two, but one of them likes Marathon Man, and the other one doesn't. Any other nominations, Will, for what's the line? What's the change? Right, is the opening too funny?
I was laughing. It's great.
The opening is almost a Naked Gun sketch. When it gets to the point where they are moving the oil truck back,
you expect like when eventually he manages to eventually start the car, but then he's struggling. You expect it then to happen again to the guy behind him, and then it's behind, and the long queue starts to form.
And then it's like, and then when they're driving next to each other and just hurling abuse. It is slightly comic.
It is. It's great, though. It's great.
It's very enjoyable. I know he's under pressure, and I know that it's the end of a great scene, and I know that it's very tense. Why does he have to slit his throat? Why doesn't he go for the stomach again? Surely slitting the throat is far too obvious. Why doesn't he get up close and stab his stomach again? That's what Hannibal did in Rome.
When in Rome.
When in Rome.
I've got Scheider when he's in the hospital, and he's obviously hiding the stuff under in the chocolate box.
Oh yes, yeah.
He
the hospital or the hotel?
Did I say hospital?
You said
I meant hotel.
Yes,
I meant hotel. They both begin with an H.
Yes. And
he leaves half of the chocolates on the duvet.
Well, he's going to eat them.
No, but they're gonna leave chocolatey map. You don't do that.
Yeah, but he's got to put the. He's got to hide the diamonds, hasn't he?
Not really. No, just shut up. You could at least put like a piece of paper or something and just.
Will, you're the man who. You're the man who thought that Donald Sutherland stepping on his sopping wet clothes and leaving his dry clothes on a wet bathroom floor was okay, and now you're saying that chocolates on a. He's going to eat them. That's why he's so full when the guy offers him one, and he's like, "No, you should have gone. Oh no, I'm all right. I just had to eat 10 of them." Yeah, no, I think that's it for changes. Any other changes?
I've got when Scheider dies, it looks dubbed. When he cries in pain, it looks very dubbed.
I've never noticed it, I have to say. Who knows? What's left from Will's notes? Anything?
I like the play on rather than devil in the detail. He says, "I'm a demon for details." That's a fun one.
Mm.
And that's. I mean, I've just written all food in general looks good. That's because
All food
I watched
in anything.
it
Yeah.
Very hungry.
All food, any movie looks good. It's it's worse than you think. It's a very long French opera. Will, when I remember very distinctly watching this film and seeing Dustin Hoffman with a flannel in his bath, and I thought, "Ooh, that looks good." And ever since, I always have a flannel over my face when I'm in the bath.
Isn't that like one step off waterboarding yourself?
Yeah, but you're not. Yeah, no, because if it gets too bad, you can just move it.
I thought that was sort of a way of foreshadowing. I thought
torture.
He was going to get taken to be waterboarded, and he was like, "Hold on, I've been training for this. I put a flannel over my face every night."
The world's most cringy setup in the world. Wonderful Al Neary, Michael Corleone's second-hand man. Did you recognise him? Yes, the wonderful Carl in this film is obviously Michael Corleone. Is Al Neary, the man who killed Fredo?
But you would like to fight, wouldn't you? It will not happen. I'm much too old and far too smart for that. But we must talk truthfully. Are you to be trusted?
No.
Is that the truth? Or are you trying again to upset me?
I know that you're going to the bank sooner or later.
Perhaps I've already been.
If you had, you wouldn't be here talking to me, would you?
What else do you know?
I know that you're panicking. You think when you leave the bank, someone's going to rob you.
Who would do such a thing?
Obviously, you think I would.
Well, can I trust you?
You never could. You only had to.
We're talking of my safety.
May I be candid?
Yes.
I couldn't give a fuck about you.
Alternate ending corner. Okay. So we know the ending that we get in this film. We have the climactic duel. In the book, he just shoots him. He lectures him and says, about Nazis and Jews, and then he shoots him dead. And the whole point for Goldman is that he has become as brutal and vicious a killer as Zell. Dustin Hoffman didn't like that. He said, no Jew, that's not the ending. That's not the ending of this, of the story. No Jew, the whole point of the Jewish religion is, not to take revenge. I mean, that's not the whole point of the Jewish religion. That's the first line in the Torah. Don't take revenge. But he said, no, it doesn't matter how vile a Nazi he is. That's a debasement of the religion. So they brought in Robert Towne, writer of Chinatown and The Last Detail, to do a rewrite on the final scene. And they told Goldman, but he wasn't very happy with it, naturally. Towne did it for free because he was friends with Robert Evans, and he said, I need your help. And we get the scene that we get in the film. Goldman describes the end. The main thing he doesn't like about the ending is the whole swallow the diamonds thing. To quote him, he says that's Hollywood horseshit.
I think it's fine, but I don't like how it's done. He's saying, it's how many you can eat before you die. I don't like that.
Yeah. You can have as many as you can swallow. I think it works as a conceit. It's one of those weird things, because I always really liked the ending. And now, after reading the book...
See, I think it should end on the streets with that payoff of...
Oh, and him just driving off?
Yeah.
Like Silence of the Lambs?
Sort of, after that big confrontation has been recognised and we don't know what's going to happen next, maybe we can have another dusted scene just before that so we get more Dustin, and we can finish that story out. But I want it to finish with him being found and that sudden what.
It's a shout. It's a shout. Time for a few fun facts. One. Few fun facts. A few fun facts. A few fun facts. A few fun facts. We talked about Paul Laurence Olivier's cancer and gout. We talked. Yeah, that's another. We talked about him forgetting his lines. We talked about the truth behind the story. Oh, according to Adventures in the Screen Trade, at one point in rehearsal, Sir Laurence Olivier asked William Goldman if he could change a line slightly and called Goldman Bill while doing so. Goldman describes it as the high point of his career. Oh. How incredible must that be?
That's great.
Can I change one word? Laurence Olivier was so afraid that he would accidentally hurt Dustin Hoffman while filming the torture scene that he would constantly ask Hoffman if he was all right after shooting a take. As a joke, Hoffman tried to make Olivier think that he really hurt him by screaming in a very convincing and unexpected manner.
That's the sort of thing I would do. Not the Hoffman, although I would do that as well. But I would always be like, "Oh, are you all right? You're all right."
Yeah. The torture scene was shortened after preview audiences were taken sick. On the last day of shooting, Sir Laurence Olivier visited Dustin Hoffman at his house, bringing with him the completed works of Shakespeare as a gift. He then proceeded to read scenes from several of the plays, much to Hoffman's delight. Hoffman credits the story about his conflict with Olivier to general malice on the part of writer William Goldman, who did not take kindly to the fact that Hoffman had persuaded John Schlesinger, the director, to change the ending of Goldman's book. Although not particularly a fan of William Goldman's original novel, Dustin Hoffman took the role so that he could work with John Schlesinger again after the two worked on Midnight Cowboy. He had also heard that Al Pacino was interested in the role and wanted to beat him to it.
Oh, you do it.
This was the original cast. Well, no, sorry. Director John Schlesinger envisioned a cast of Al Pacino, Olivier, and Julie Christie.
Oh, I think it's cast very well as it is. I think Dustin's better than Pacino.
I think for this role he is. I could maybe see Julie Christie over Marta Keller. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I like Marta Keller in the film. I think she does a fine job. The main reason was because Pacino had such an unpleasurable experience with Robert Evans on the Godfather movies. And we talked about the changing of the ending of the book, and they're my fun facts. Tom's big question. Is this the first movie with the student who knows too much writing down the answer and then scribbling it out gag? Not gag, but is this... Because I can't... Yeah, I can't think of... Did William Goldman come up with that thing that's been done in an obscene amount?
Where else has it been done?
It's been a Wallflower, where he's like... Who came up with Box Office? And I know that. It was Charles Dickens. So I'm... I did know Tennyson, though, in this. It has to be said. So Marta's original plan was to just watch him in the library.
Oh.
Who knows? Was the plan for them to be in love or be in a relationship or what?
I don't know. I mean, he makes the effort of returning the book.
Yeah, because he fancies her. He wants to have sex with her or go on a date with her or whatever. He doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. To quote Dustin Hoffman, if it wasn't for the fact that I was with my first wife, I think me and Marta Keller would have had a very fun time.
Oh, calm down, Dustin.
Dustin, you dog.
You dirty.
Right. That's Marathon Man. Let's do a quick roundup on William Goldman.
Let's do it. This is my favourite bit of Fortnight Week.
I've got three nominations. Best performance. We've had some incredible performances. We've had Newman in Butch, which is incredible. We've had Jason Robards in All the President's Men and Redford in All the President's Men. We've had Hal Holbrook as Deep Throat. We've had, obviously, Olivier in this.
Kathy Bates in Misery.
Oh,
that's my favourite.
Is a real battle. Is it Kathy Bates in Misery, or is it Hopkins in Magic?
Oh,
that is really tough.
Oh, no, let's give it to both. We've got Best Actor and Best Actress.
Very good, very good. What's the best screenplay? We are, of course, talking about an author here, a screenwriter here. I think I'm going to go President's Men. I think the degree of difficulty in making that film entertaining. And the fact that it flies by, and the fact that all that information keeps berating you, and somehow it sinks in. Sure, maybe it helps with a couple of watchers, but the fact that it's all sinking in, it's an and as well as the fact that it's funny, thrilling, just tense, great. I'm going Presidents.
I'm between Misery and Marathon. I think those two are good. I think I'll say Marathon Man.
It's great script.
Yeah.
Best film.
Misery. I'm gonna say it. Tom.
No,
All the President's Men was my least favourite.
Was your least favourite?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but least favourite. This isn't a best of the worst situation. This is a
oh no
least favourite of 6 excellent films.
Yeah.
No, you're all right. You can. I think.
Thank you. That's just personal taste.
I think I'd go Misery, Butch. God, so many good films. Misery, Butch, Magic, Marathon. No, Princess Bride's my least favourite.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go Misery, Marathon, Magic, Butch, Bride, President.
Ooh. Fair dues. Well, each their own. And that concludes block number 5.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
In fact, what day is it today? It's the 5th of December.
It's the 5th of December today. Oh, is that snow outside, Will? It's the 5th of December, and block 6, yes, we've got lots of Christmas stuff for you. And then we've got...
We're starting block 6 with the greatest Christmas movie of all time.
It's a Wonderful Life. Oh no, we're starting with the worst Christmas movie ever, the Polar Bloody X.
Well, we'll do a poll. What's your favourite Christmas movie? That's a good idea. We'll send a poll out.
And the people will say, why is Polar Express on this list? Nobody actually likes Polar Express. And also we've got our first dip into the Scorsese pool. We've picked one a decade. Not necessarily the best, but not necessarily our favourite. We don't really know. We just picked one a decade. So we've got 5 great Scorsese films. We're talking about The Graduate. We're also going to talk about Rocky Horror. We're also going to talk about There's Something About Mary. And we're going to start our next TV show, which is indeed... Will's going to take my Peep Show cherry.
Hey, yeah, Peep Show. I'm very excited. When are you going to start watching it? You'll start watching it this week.
I will start watching it this week. Yes, indeed.
Oh, exciting! I'll join you.
I'll go from watching one of the best comedies ever, There's Something About Mary, to...
Well, no, you can't make comment.
I can't. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah. This is true. I do. And?
Oh, and what? No, carry on. Carry on. That sounded promising.
People, it's not like I want it to be bad, because I'm going to have to sit through 9 seasons of the pissing thing.
Yeah.
I want it to be good.
I hope afterwards you move on to that Mitchell and Webb look, their sketch show.
Both that Mitchell and Webb look and the Armstrong and Miller show, I've seen clips of, and some are really funny, and some I just don't find funny at all. It's a variety. Well, anyway, we'll see. But I hope I enjoy it. I hope I, love Peep Show as much as you do. Oh God, I hope I get it. I hope I get it. How many people does he need? Go on, Will. How many boys? How many girls? How many girls? How many boys? How many boys? How many girls?
I'm not that big of a chorus line fan. I mean, I like it, but I don't know. I can't quote it.
Okay, one more time. One more time. Not looking at the mirror. Here we go. What's the
Gonorrhea.
chorus?
I had gonorrhea. I know that bit.
5, 10, look 3. What can we end? How can we end this on a chorus line note? What's the song? What's the big love song? What I did, won't forget, can't regret what I did for love.
William Goldman.
William Goldman. Ooh, we love you, Willie. Willie, Willie. I love Willie, Willie, Willie. I love Willie.
Goldman?
No, sir, can you keep it down? Come on, Will. Come on, Will. Oh, Will, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Da ba da ba da ba da da.